harder than the warrior is for you. He pounds the ground with big chunky attacks and can shrug off the hits of small enemies with large amounts of armor. Even though the mace slams are slow, you never lose control. Longer attacks can be retargeted as you go, and if you find yourself committed to a long attack, you can dodge roll out of it at any time. Among the skill option for maces, you'll find a variety of slams, fire attacks, war cries, and shield skills. Hits of small enemies will large slam the ground, rending it apart with lines of fire. Even though the mace slams are slow, any slam skill will then cause these fissures to longer attacks can be retargeted and even run through them with a skill like Stampede to do huge amounts of damage.
Than what I usually like to play in these kinds of games.
The warrior can also use war cries to power your next skill. Seismic Cry, for example, will double any slams from your next attack. The Stampede counts as a slam, so I can double that for even more craziness.
Yeah, slow and clunky.
If you want to go a little faster and be a little more defensive, equip a shield. In PoE 2, you can raise your shield at any time to block all damage from the front, even spells.
What,
While
just
holding
smack
up your
him, just
shield,
kill
your
him.
stun meter will build as you take damage, so be careful. If it reaches 100%, your stance will break and you will be vulnerable. Some enemies also have unblockable attacks, which are indicated by this red flash. If you see one of these coming, make sure to dodge out of the way.
I think I'm going to do a
Using a
caster
shield
class for
also
sure.
gives you access to shield skills, like Shield Charge, which allows you to charge towards enemies and stun them. While charging, you're also blocking the whole time, so you have full damage immunity from the front. The warrior also has access to totems. Some totems have built-in abilities like Shockwave Totem, which can be placed to stun nearby enemies and trigger aftershocks like
I'm
those
not
from
going
the
to
earthquake.
hate
But you can
people
also
have
get
their own
ancestral warrior
class.
totems, which allow
I was
you
gonna
to
say,
use any
why
slam skill in
wouldn't
your
you pick
repertoire.
a class that has like a
This is a meta
like
skill,
fun mobility,
which means that
but
it's
I
a
guess
skill
some
you can put
people
other skills into. I can take a slam like Sunder and socket it into my
tanky boy.
ancestral warrior totem. Now when I summon him, he'll sit there and slam the monsters from a distance. There are 20 active skills for maces, so there's a lot more to try out. But by endgame, you're going to be dropping hammers from the sky, leaping fearlessly into combat, and separating the very earth you stand on.
There's not enough flashing
Time for
lights
some
in this
ranged
class for me to
attacks.
play it.
The ranger is primarily about the bow, but we wanted to make sure that she feels agile. In PoE 2, you can shoot while moving. Combined with all the skills the ranger has that allow you to jump around, you will have a lot of mobility in combat. Bow skills have a variety of lightning, poison, ice, and physical attacks. Lightning attacks bounce around between targets. You can also stick lightning arrows in the ground which explode when hit by the bouncers, or electrocute enemies to take them out of combat. Ice attacks allow you to slow and freeze enemies to keep them away from you. Using poison, not only can you slowly damage your enemies from afar,
Wait,
but
so
also
I
grow
thought that
some
this was a
interesting
WASD
plants.
game. Do most people play with clicking to
and
move?
all the mobility
Or
and
do
combo
people
tools
change
the
their
ranger
keybinds?
has, you can take advantage of every
It is?
situation.
Well, which do
By
most people
in-game,
do?
you'll be creating hundreds of arrows, be they falling from the sky, bouncing around between enemies, or spraying out of tornadoes.
Most click? Okay, I'll
You
probably
might
do
have
that
noticed
then.
in the bottom left of the screen that the flask slots look a little different.
Oh, it's
In
new?
PoE 2, you have one
Oh.
dedicated life flask slot and one mana flask slot. Flasks gain charges as you kill enemies.
Yeah, I'll just do
and
the
typically
clicking, I
allow you to
think.
heal 6 or 7 times if they're full. But that's not the only thing you can use charges for. Charms are a new item type that will automatically defend you from various debuffs or damage types.
WSD should be better on
Having
any
trouble
range. Well,
with
yeah,
getting
that's what I was
frozen?
thinking. It sounds
A
like
clawing charm.
because you're gonna have
When
to
it's
click
fully
so
charged,
much.
it will make you immune to freeze for 3 seconds if you get frozen.
Maybe I'll
To recharge them,
maybe I'll
just
play
kill more
WSD
monsters.
actually, because then I won't have
You
to
can gain more
use my
slots for
brain when I
charms by
swap
upgrading your
back
belt.
to WoW.
The mercenary wields a crossbow that can be loaded
We'll
with
see.
different ammo types, offering versatility, power, and mobility. All
League
classes in
movement,
Path of
though?
Exile 2 can be controlled
Nah,
with
I mean,
WASD,
there's
which
so
makes
much
this
moving in
class
this
play exactly
compared
like a
to League,
shooter.
I feel like.
For the crossbow, you will find skills that work like shotguns, sniper rifles, assault rifles, and even grenade launchers. But not only that, there are a wide variety of more interesting elemental ammos too. It's very
Stream
fast to
stuttering?
switch between ammo types, as long as you already have them loaded, which
I
makes the
don't know.
mercenary able to combo abilities
If it
together
goes down,
with
my server
devastating
will keep
effect.
the stream up. It's probably 'cause my internet's having a
Use
a
Glacial
time.
Bolt to create walls of ice to separate enemies, then switch to fragmentation rounds to explode the ice, dealing massive
Or maybe it's
AoE
because so many
damage.
people are watching Path of
If I come
Exile.
across an armored enemy,
And Twitch
I could
is
use armor-piercing rounds
having
to
a
break their
bad
armor,
time.
and then high-velocity rounds to take them down. Or perhaps I could fire a gas grenade to poison enemies before detonating the cloud with an explosive shot for massive damage. If you want to call in some suppressing fire, you can summon artillery ballistas. These have a minimum range, so you'll want to prepare your position carefully before moving in. There are 22 active skills for crossbows. By endgame, you'll be calling destruction down from the sky as you litter the battlefield with grenades and pepper your enemies with your automatic shotgun. If you're looking to take a backseat and let your minions do the work, then the witch should be your choice. She can call forth undead monsters to fight for her while casting powerful chaos spells that debilitate her enemies. Occult skills are some of the most varied in the game, with skeletons, noxious spells, specialty minions, curses, and sacrificial magic. Before we talk about minions, we'll have to talk about a new resource in Path of Exile 2 called Spirit. This is a spirit gem, which allows you to pick from a range of persistent skills. All classes have a variety of these skills which can add some very interesting effects, like Arctic Armor, which does cold damage to enemies that hit you.
Dude, I can't believe
Raging
Tips came in my
Spirits, which
Call of
summon
Duty and
fiery
said Allah
stealth each
Akbar
time
and
you cast a
left.
fire spell.
After I
For
just
the
spent
Witch
5 hours
we'll
getting
be using our spirit
whirlwind
to create
out.
permanent minions.
And I was tilted
These
out of my
minions will be
mind.
revived automatically when they die, so you don't have to worry about resummoning them all the time. Here, I'm using the skill screen to allocate which minions I would like in my horde. You can see the spirit cost of each one. Skeletal warriors are cheap, but weak. Useful for tanking damage and distracting
Hey,
enemies.
I was proud of you,
But I want
dog.
more heavy hitters in my army. So I'm going to unsummon some warriors and instead add skeletal arsonists.
Thanks, Tips.
Permanent minions come with
Wait,
special
you're saying
active
only
abilities
path I
called command skills. You can
It's
order
path
these
of
guys
all
to detonate your
I'm
own minions for
excited
even more
Play
damage.
this
and area
today,
of effect.
yes!
If you want a bigger army, you'll need a scepter.
God is the
This
greatest.
new weapon type is imbued with even more